So how much pressure you're gonna need to put on the plunger while you're injecting is dependent on a couple things. Some of the key factors are gonna be the gauge of the needle, how thick is the needle. So a 31, that's a really skinny, versus a 22, right? It's a little bit larger, or even an 18, right? We're probably never gonna use that for injecting, right? But can you imagine what's gonna be harder to push out? A 31 or an 18?
A 31.
31, why? Because it's skinnier, right? So very small. And it looks so contradicting, right? A 31 is actually smaller. Basically, the way they came up with gauges is basically like, let's say they take a measurement, a box right here. How many needles can they fit in this box? So the smaller diameter needles, you can fit 31 of these in this slot versus if it were 18, the diameter is a lot wider, so you would fit less. You would fit 18 in here because they're larger, okay? Now, according to Pascal's law, have you ever heard of that? So in physics, they say, we're talking about the gauge. We're talking about the diameter, inside diameter of that needle, right? According to Pascal's law, this is a pipe or a needle, whatever you want to call it, the theory still applies. If I well, let's not even talk about half yet. If I decrease the diameter of this tube by half, how much resistance am I going to have coming out? How much resistance am I going to meet? According to Pascal's law, it's a 16-fold increase in the amount of resistance that you're going to meet by just halving the diameter of it. So can you imagine from going from 22 to a 31, as the diameter gets smaller, you're going to have more resistance. You're going to have to insert 16 times more pressure for you to expel that filler. That's not even assuming the thickness of the filler. The larger the particles on that filler, or if it has, what is a contour and define have? I'm sorry, define and refine.
As in what?
The technology.
Oh.
Expression technology. It kind of moves with your facial expressions, which is why it makes it such a great filler in the lips, so it doesn't feel fake. That is gonna be a lot harder to actually push through the syringe just because of the thickness. Another reason is also the length. Okay, so if we, according to Pascal's law, if we let's say this is constant, right? You're putting this is a syringe. According to Pascal's law, if we have the length and the flow is consistent, the amount of pressure, so if we just cut this by half, we're gonna double the flow of coming out, okay? By shortening it. So it's gonna make it easier to push, right? If you just increase if you stay with the same consistency, it's gonna be easier. All these factors basically lead to the point that always push filler out of the syringe, out of the bevel of the needle before you insert it into somebody's face. So you can feel how much pressure you need to place on the plunger. So you're not guessing, is filler coming out? Because if you can feel your thumb moving on that plunger, you're pushing too fast and you're pushing too much. It's a game of millimeters. So when people are like, oh my God, you're gonna do this. Yeah, but I'm just doing this. You didn't even see my thumb move. It's just about strategically placing the filler, not how much I'm placing. That's gonna be able to set you apart. It's gonna get you better outcomes because you're looking at the overall picture. What is the best version of that person with the most minimal amount of filler with the least complications. Also less downtime. All right, cool. I'm Jacob Sanchez. I'm a board certified registered nurse anesthetist. If you have any more questions, please. I love educating, and this actually allows more people to become more educated, whether you're a consumer thinking about getting fillers or you're thinking about injecting or you're already injecting. The more likes that we get on this video, we can kind of gear as to what type of content you guys want to hear, and we can gear to what your needs are. So thank you for following. Please subscribe. Peace and love.